see. Kevin, Los Angeles. You're on the Wilkow Majority. Hello.
Hi. As I said to your screener, I disagree with you on almost every issue. I really believe that you're intellectually dishonest.
Okay, how so?
Well, first of all, I believe you've adopted the political stance you have because it suits your financial agenda. You speak in conclusions. You basically a moment ago just deconstructed the entire college educational system, and you gave a reference as something about feminine poetry as being a major that's useless. You know that the real purpose of going to college is, Andrew? It's not to get a job; it's to learn how to think.
Really?
That you never commented. Yes.
Really?
Yes.
So you
graduate school. You're supposed to learn.
No. Hold on a second here. So you're not going to college to advance your skill set for the purpose of employment. It's just 4 years of you finding yourself. How can you think for yourself when somebody's at the front of the room telling you what to think?
No, that's your intellectual dishonesty.
No, that's not my intellectual dishonesty, sir. In most courses of study, hold on, you're going to let me finish or I'm going to hang up on you. I don't need you on this program.
Sure you don't.
No, I don't. The fact of the matter is when you have subject matter that is more based on opinion or vagueness rather than the applied science, you get a system that formulates around authority of thought. For example, if you're in an engineering class, you don't just disagree with the professor on stress and materials. You don't go, well, I don't think that titanium is that strong. Trust me, it's been long figured out before you sat your rear end in this class how strong titanium is. Unless you are a prodigy, trust me, this is how strong titanium is. In courses of study where there's a lot of academic wiggle room, you find professors that provide an authority of thought. If you reject, you fail.
Are you true?
Yeah. Did you hear the little pause there?
Andrew, your talk show is not a bully pulpit.
I never said it was, sir.
I know. And you also never told anybody that one of the reasons you got the job is because your father-in-law was a broadcasting executive.
That is, you can look that up on the internet all you want. The story of how I met my wife is well known and well documented. I was in radio long before I met her or I met him. I was working in talk radio long before our ever first date, sir. But nice try. Too bad my last name is not Kennedy, right? Thanks for the call. 1-866-95-PATRIOT. So typical personal attack by a pseudo-intellectual who couldn't notice that. I want you to notice something here. He couldn't refute what I just said about applied sciences versus courses of study that are more based in opinion or vagueness or any sort of lack of truth. Science is the pursuit of truth. Many courses of study are sort of based on the whimsy of academia. He couldn't combat that point, so it came down to something about my wife and my father-in-law. You're such an educated man, sir. Thank you for calling in. And no matter where you went to school, sir, your academic pedigree doesn't outweigh the strength of my argument. Try again. I've said this before and I'll say it again. You want to see a real progressive tax code that the progressives themselves would lose their damn minds if you actually had to pay it? Starting with the people in Congress? All right, here you go. There's your Clinton tax rate, but it doesn't kick in till $1 million. All right, everybody else is paying 25. Now at 1 million, you go 1% per million compounded. Let's see how happy some of your left-wing trial lawyer friends are, like Alan Grayson, at that rate. Let's see how John Edwards is happy about that rate. You know, these D.C. millionaires, the 99%, the 1% that support the 99%. Let's see when they can't go to Congress anymore to use their special favors to get government contracts to offset their income taxes. Let's see how happy they are. Let's see how happy the Kennedy family is. And oh, by the way, do you forget that a lot of your so-called 1%ers aren't even working? They're living off of trust funds like the Kennedys? Why don't you go after them? There's a difference between wealth and income, genius. Maybe we'll get another smarty smart caller like Kevin from Los Angeles, who, by the way, wasn't even using his real name. This genius calls in. One day he's in the auto industry. The next day he's a law professor. Another day after that he's a doctor. A dummy. 1-866-95-PATRIOT. I'm just going to let you liberals know, I know when I've won the debate. I know it before you know it. And then I let it go. Because I'm not content for a TKO. I want a jaw-busting KO. I want your teeth all over the damn ring. 1-866-95-PATRIOT.